evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Thiruni Karunaratna. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. On to those stories in detail now. Independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe invited all members of the United National Party to join him. Another phase of the series of Puluang Sri Lanka public rallies held in support of independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe took place in the Bandarawala town today.
We have launched a new program to provide land to the people living in the estates by converting line rooms into villages. As promised, salaries have been increased. Now we must ensure your peace of mind. J.R. Jayawardena said he would build the economy. Then came President Premadasa. I also defended him when he was accused of wrongdoing and supported the party. This is the United National Party. Now Sajith Premadasa has divided this party. I say that we will rebuild the United National Party. I aim to build the economy around in 2 years, just as J.R. Jayawardena did. This is the UNP tradition. Under the UNP, I asked for your vote as a representative of the UNP. So what happened to those other parties? I still cannot align with Sajith Premadasa. Can we discuss the economy? When it comes to the economy, he asks for Harsha De Silva and Kabir Hashim. When they came and applauded us, they were asked to leave. Is this how a party should operate? Can he control it? Can he lead a country? That party has completely fallen apart. But this is not our party. It is not the United National Party. Those are not members of the United National Party. If you are a part of the UNP, I am asking all of you to come and support me.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය නෙමෙයි. එයා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය නෙමෙයි. තමුන් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය නම් මට ඇවිල්ලා සහයෝගය දෙන්න කියලා මම ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම කියනවා.
Several ministers supporting Ranil Wickremesinghe shared their views.
The latest claim is that if Ranil Wickremesinghe wins this presidential election, thieves will be protected. This is a presidential election, not an election to catch thieves. Therefore, the presidential election should be based on who can secure your future. If you think we are thieves and these MPs are thieves, then you should not elect those MPs in the general election. This is not the time for experimentation. Remember, a vote for Wickremesinghe is a vote of respect for someone who has demonstrated their capability. He can say that he provides fertilizer, but that is not what he says. He said that he will strengthen the economy. He is not someone who asks for votes for petty reasons. He has saved this country from economic disaster and political instability. Without his visionary actions and programs, this country could have become another Bangladesh.
දෙන්නම් කාශි වලට ඡන්ද ඉල්ලන කෙනෙක් නෙවෙයි. ජනාධිපතිතුමා මාත් එක්ක තරහ වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මම විහිළුවක් කරනවා මම. තරහ නැහැ නේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා. ජනාධිපතිතුමා කොහොමද ඔය කල්පනා කර කර ඉන්නේ? එච්චර මැරෙනවා මම. තාම මගෙන් අහලා නැහැ. චාමර ඔයා වැඩද මට කියලා. ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ විදිය. කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. කැටයම් නැහැ.
The president is quite simple. That's the kind of person we need. He does his job to the dot.
එහෙම නේද? පොඩ්ඩක් කලිසම පොඩ්ඩක් පල්ලයට යනකොට උස්සාරි වැඩේ කරනවා. ඒක ගණන් ගන්න එපා. වැඩේ ගානට කරනවා ලොක්කා.
Presidential candidate of the Samagi Janabalawega, Sajid Premadasa, has pledged to do everything possible to support the farming community under his administration. He emphasized that farmers are not a burden but an asset to the Samagi Janabalawega. A rally of presidential candidate of the Samagi Janabalawega, Sajid Premadasa, was held in Madhavachya. The rally saw the attendance of parliamentarians of the Samagi Janabalawega and affiliated factions.
අද බලන්න ගොවියට නාඩු වලට සම්බ වලට කීරි සම්බ වලට කැකුළු වලට
Look at the price farmers are paid for their harvest of samba, nadu, kiri samba and kakulu rice. Then look at the prices at which it is sold to the consumers. The farmers are not being paid a fair price. The rice mill mafia has made the farming community helpless. I promise you that on the 21st of September, I will defeat the rice mill mafia and make the farmers the kings of this country. I will provide a permanent solution to the problems faced by the farmers and their loan issue. We will waive off their cultivation loans. Some ask if we can actually do all this. I'd like to ask the incumbent president and the government how the loans given to all the millionaires and billionaires of this country were waived off. But you cannot do that for the farmers of this country who work tirelessly for our country. Why is that? They consider the farming community a burden to the country. Therefore, keep in mind that those who burn down agricultural service centers cannot empower farmers. We will introduce online agricultural services. We will develop this country to a point where it is an export-centric economy and there is a proper market for your produce. We will modernize agriculture through a digital platform.
තමන්ගේ නිෂ්පාදන යවාගත හැකි තැනකට අපි දියුණු කරනවා. ඩිජිටල් ප්ලැට්ෆෝම් ක්‍රමය හරහා ගොවි ජනතාවගේ වගා රටාව නවීකරණයට ලක් කරනවා.
Several SJB MPs as well as MPs who pledged their support to the Samagi Janasandana also addressed the gathering.
මේ මැතිවරණය තුල අපිට අත්හදා බැලීම් කරන්න ඉඩක් නැහැ.
We have no room to experiment during this presidential election. If we are to pick the people's leader from the 39 contenders this time, that individual would be Sajid Premadasa.
ඒ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා විතරයි. සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා සැප්තැම්බර් 21 දිනුවට පස්සේ
After Sajid Premadasa wins the election on the 21st of September, we will empower the farming community of this country by renovating the reservoir system of Rajarata, ensuring the timely provision of water for cultivation, ensuring that equipment and machinery required are provided, and making the economy self-sufficient.
ස්වයං පෝෂිත ශක්තිමත් ආර්ථිකයක් තියෙන ජනතාවක් බවට
The leaders of the UNP and those who affiliated with them are now trying to topple Sajid Premadasa. Do not fall for their tricks. We have got an opportunity to form a government with your help. Our plan is for 10 years and not 5. I must tell the people of this country that the leaders on stage with Sajid Premadasa are very skilled and capable. There is a strong team which is not marred with theft and corruption. That is why we say that Sajid Premadasa is the only leader who is capable of saving our country from corruption and restoring the country.
Sajid Premadasa මැතිතුමා කියන එක තමුන් දාසර අපි කියන්න ඕනේ.
Presidential candidate of Samagi Janabalawega, Sajid Premadasa, visited the Nallur Kandaswamy temple in Jaffna and engaged in religious observances this evening. Sajid Premadasa also visited the Nagadeepa temple and received the blessings from the Mahasangha. He then called on the Bishop of Jaffna Diocese, Justin Bernard Nyanpragasam, and received his blessings.
Some work.
Meanwhile, the environmental policy of the National People's Power was unveiled in Columbo under the auspices of the presidential candidate Anura Kumara Disanayaka.
A large number of field experts, including environmentalists, attended the event.
එකම පවුලකට අයත් වන්නේ ගංගා දිගේ ගලා බස්නා විදුලන දියදහ ජලයම නොව අපගේ මුතුන් මිත්තන්ගේ රුධිරය. එම ජලය නගන මිමිනුම ඒ මුතුන් මිත්තන්ගේ කටහඬ වන්නේ. ගංගාවෝ අපගේ සහෝදරයෝ.
රටක් විදිහට අපි විශාල අනතුරක අද වෙද්දී පාරිසරික විද්‍යාත්මකව.
As a country, we are currently in the midst of a significant environmental crisis. In response, we are developing the National People's Powers Environmental Policy, centered around 11 key principles. The policy is still in the drafting phase, and we encourage you to contribute your suggestions.
ඒක නිර්මාණය කිරීම අවසන් වෙලා නැහැ. ඔබගේ අදහස් ඉදිරියේදීත් අපිට ලබා දෙන්න කියන අපි යෝජනාව කරනවා.
අපි දේශපාලන අධිකාරියට නායකත්වය දෙන්නම්.
We will take the lead in political authority, and our contribution will be to ensure your successful completion of your efforts to protect these ecosystems. We never imagined we would see shops selling water in Anuradhapura within our lifetime. We used to drink from the tanks and wells. Now people are suffering from various diseases. When it rains for a week, the tanks overflow. Yet after just 2 weeks without rain, they dry up. Clearly something is wrong. We are facing landslides, floods and other natural disasters. We will take every possible step to prevent the destruction of this ecosystem. They should ask, how many tanks has Anuradhapura built? I'm not King Pandukabir. Our mission wasn't about building tanks. During my time as Minister of Agriculture, we focused on reviving the tank cascade system in the Madavachi electorate. The priority was to restore this system, not to construct new tanks. Next, we need to implement the elephant fences based on scientific methods. I'm also considering the restoration of the cascade tank system and the reopening of Elephant Pass to create the necessary ecosystem that provides them with adequate food. These are immediate solutions that we must pursue.
යම් ප්‍රමාණයක විදුලි වැටත්. ඔය ටික තමයි මම හිතන්නේ. නිශ්චිත වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් ශනිකව මේකට පිළිතුරක් අවශ්‍යයි.
Meanwhile, a public rally organised by National People's Power presidential candidate Anurakumar Dissanayake was held in Birgama this evening.
අපේ රටේ හැම ඡන්දයක් එනකොටම ඉන්න පාලකයන් සියල්ල අසාර්ථක වුණාට පස්සේ අනාගතය පිළිබඳ අනතුරක් හදනවා. සමහර ඡන්ද
In our country, as elections approach, there is often a pattern where leaders create fear about the future to sway voters. This tactic has been used in the past to suggest that the nation will face serious decline if they don't win. Ranil Wickremesinghe is warning of a potential gas crisis if he doesn't win. Ironically, we are already facing a real gas crisis. What they do every day is create a fear in people about the future. They present themselves as the only solution. They create such a fear but follow the same old approaches. Will the people who voted in fear of a national crisis cast their vote for Ranil Wickremesinghe despite his claims of a gas crisis? No. Ranil Wickremesinghe's election slogan appears to be failing. Some parties are reacting with frustration and spreading false, insulting and distorted information. I saw an SJB MP claim that following a victory of the National People's Power on the 21st, we have planned a huge disruption. We will file a complaint at the CID tomorrow morning with the relevant details.
අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට පැමිණිල්ලක් දානවා. කියන්න ගිහිල්ලා. තැනතන කියන්න නැතුව.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa said that he will introduce a tax policy that will be affordable for local businesses while safeguarding them.
A public rally organised in support of Namal Rajapaksa was held in Homagama this morning.
In some villages, our party supporters are being threatened, made fun of and insulted. They may be trying to undermine support for Pohuttuwa, but I firmly believe that the patriotic mothers, fathers and youth who love this country, cherish its unity and respect its culture will ensure a victory for Pohuttuwa on the 21st. Wish you all a bright future.
ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම ජය වේවා කියන සුබනාගතය පතමින්
කොහොමද අපි දිනන්නේ දැන් කට්ටියට ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න.
Many are doubtful about our chances of winning. questioning how we can succeed when the party is divided into 4 to 5 factions. However, even though Pohottuwe is split, the larger faction remains with the Rajapaksas, while only a small portion has split. It doesn't matter whether the party is divided into 4 to 5 pieces or 20. With the larger piece, we will ensure that Namal Rajapaksa becomes the winning candidate. Just because a few at the top left, did everyone else abandon us? Did our people in villages sell out for bar permits just because a few in parliament did? Were you all swayed by even 10 rupees just because those in power were bribed for 150 to 200 million? No, even though a few in power left, 4 million people are united to crown Namal Rajapaksa as president. I believe that you will give your energy, strength and courage to this journey.
Strengthening the people, fighting for the truth, leading a nation, forging the future. Newsfirst, with the people. The village of Nikavarattiya Digannava in the Kurunegala district was grappling with contaminated water sources. This forced villagers to rely on expensive bottled water, which was a significant burden for those living in poverty. Children played in muddy puddles, putting their health at risk. But today, a new chapter begins. Let's take a look. In the heart of Sri Lanka, amidst lush green fields and bustling cities, a stark contrast exists. While people in urban Sri Lanka often enjoy the convenience of clean water, rural communities grapple with the daily struggle of accessing this essential resource. One such village, Digannava in Nikavarattiya, found itself trapped in a thirsty land until Gammatha brought a much-needed lifeline. The Gammatha project, funded by the Jayatissa and Jayanthi Bandaraguda Foundation and implemented with the technical expertise of the Sri Lankan Navy, aims to address this pressing issue.
We donated the money we saved. This money was not obtained illegally. I am able to make this donation only because I have been very careful with my spending.
By constructing a water purification system, this project promises to provide clean drinking water to the villagers.
මිදෙන්නට මේ ලබා දෙන සත්කාරය නම් වචන වලින් කියලා නිම කරන්න බෑ. ඇත්තටම පින් දෙනවා අපි.
Very soon, the villagers of Digannava will be able to celebrate the completion of the water purification system, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Gammatha, for the people, by the people.
It's an absolute waste for 38 people to be contesting.
There is a Tamil common candidate already.
That's also an absolute waste.
Do you think that person is a waste, or do you think having a Tamil common candidate?
No, that whole idea is a nonsensical idea.
The Bar Council today unanimously called upon President's Counsel Kaushalya Navaratna to resign from office of BASL President. President's Counsel Kaushalya Navaratna was directed by the Bar Council not to exercise the power and functions of the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. President's Counsel Anura Maddagoda was elected Deputy President to succeed Nalinda Indathissa, who resigned from that office. A special committee appointed by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka has delivered a critical report on the dealings between the BASL and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. The investigation has concluded that BASL President statement, President's counsel Kaushalya Navaratna failed to maintain the transparency expected of him, ultimately breaching the trust of the organisation he leads. The report reveals that President's counsel Navaratna was primarily responsible for handling the contractual arrangements and the selection of resource persons and researchers. This process, according to the committee, was marked by a lack of transparency. President's counsel Navaratna managed nearly all aspects of the contract, and the procedures he followed did not meet the standards of openness expected in such significant dealings. The investigation noted that Navaratna's position as BASL president came with a responsibility to ensure transparency, particularly given the substantial financial implications of the JICA contract. The report criticizes President's counsel Navaratna for failing to ensure that these processes were conducted in an open and accountable manner. The BASL Executive Committee is expected to meet soon to deliberate on the implications of the report and decide on the appropriate steps to address the issues highlighted. In the past 24 hours, 8 people have died in road accidents across several areas. According to the police, the accidents occurred in Beravilla, Iluppakadave, Ipalogama, Bakare, Puvarasankulam, Payagala, Sandiveli and Varakapula. 6 of the fatalities were involved in motorcycle accidents. A 30-year-old man was killed when a bus collided with a motorcycle in Beravilla, Navakurunduwatta. A 52-year-old woman died when a part of a machine on board a lorry broke off, killing the woman on a motorcycle on Iluppakadave Road. A 33-year-old man was killed when his motorcycle lost control, veered off the road and struck a post near the 15-kilometre post on the Kakirava Talava Road. A 45-year-old died after a motorcycle collided with a trailer of a tractor in Bakare. A man was killed in Pudukulam on the Vaunia Manor Road when an SUV collided with his motorcycle. A man died after losing control and veering off the road, colliding with an embankment in Payagala. Additionally, a woman was killed after being struck by a lorry in Mavadivembu. A 57-year-old man died when a lorry collided with him while he was crossing the road at Ambepussa on the Columbo Kandy Road.
Every dream needs a power source, a steady supply of inspiration, illumination, current. For over 40 years, LTL Holdings has powered the Sri Lankan dream, turning your potential into energy, your vision into reality. The farmer hoping that his harvest stays fresh all the way to market. The student waiting for his assignment to upload. The young mother keeping a watchful eye on her pride and joy. We are a nation of dreamers, waking up when the lights come on, opening our eyes to a future full of cleaner energy, one where every Sri Lankan is in charge. Sri Lanka's biggest IPO opens on the 10th of September. LTL Holdings, power to the future.
මාතලේ සේනාගම කියන්නේ දුෂ්කර කම්මානයක්. ඔවුන්ගේ ජීවනෝපාය කෘෂිකර්මාන්තය සහ කුලී වැඩයි. මේ ගමේ වැසියෝ කන්න තුනම වගා කරලා රටට බත සැපියවත් ඔවුන්ට බොන්න පිරිසිදු ජලය නැහැ. ගම්මැද්ද ඔවුන් සොයාගියා.
ගම්මැද්ද රට නගන ජන පෞර.
Welcome back to the news. Parliamentarian M.A. Sumandiran says that the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi will meet tomorrow to decide on the candidate that the party will be supporting in the upcoming presidential election.
MP M.A. Sumandiran made this statement during Newsfirst's Cross-Board Digital segment.
We are meeting on the 1st of September. Our party central committee is meeting to consider the different manifestos that have been put out by the 3 main candidates.
3 main candidates are Anurukumara Dissanayaka, Sajid Premadasa and Ranil Wickramasinghe. Am I right?
That's right, okay. Yes.
Rest of the 35...
We don't know why they are even. It's an absolute waste for 38 people to be contesting for presidential election. Anyhow, these are the 3 main candidates and we are considering their written manifestos. Particularly with regard to the Tamil national question and various other important issues that are faced by the country.
There is a Tamil common candidate already that the Tamil parties finally decided on.
That's also an absolute waste. I think that's a tremendous blunder that some Tamil parties and organizations have made, putting forward a person to take away votes that should be cast for a constructive purpose of actually electing a president.
Do you think that person is a waste, or do you think having a Tamil common
that whole idea is a nonsensical idea.
A group of officials, including the Kandy Assistant Election Commissioner of the Election Commission, raided a public meeting organised in support for independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe last night.
The meeting was organised in both Alapitiya Gampala with the participation of a group including Minister of Justice and Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri, Parliamentarian Mahindananda Alutgamage and former Provincial Council member Shantini Kongage. Officials, including the Kandy Assistant Election Commissioner, took custody of the food containers prepared for distribution to the 1,500 supporters present. The meeting took place after the officials had handed over the food to the Gampala police station and made the necessary notes.
I believe it will take another 25 to 30 years to recover from a mistake made on the 21st. The party must be willing to sacrifice for the country's sake. If the party cannot make this sacrifice, we must go against it and support a leader who understands the country's priorities. That's why 95 of us out of 118 SLPP members are supporting Ranil Wickremesinghe.
The Samagi Janabalavege's Kolonava Electorate Women's Conference was held this afternoon. Jalani Premadasa was also in attendance.
The Women's Conference was organised by Samagi Janabalavege's Columbo Electorate organiser SM Marikar.
To win, we need 7 million votes this time. We only need 1.4 million from the 6.9 million Pohottua, which is why we are forming an alliance. If there are 100 votes for Pohottua in a village, we need 20 from that. We already have 30 to 40% from Mulleriyawa. JVP got 418,000 votes. They need to get 6.5 million from 6.9 million, which means if there are 100 votes for Pohottua, they need 94. Is it possible? Next, Ranil, only 249,000. He needs to get 6.65 million from 6.9. He would need 96 out of every 100 votes for Pohottua. Is it possible?
එම පින්තාරු වැඩමුළුව හා ප්‍රදර්ශනය NVQ සහතිකලාබී වෘත්තීය පින්තාරු ශිල්පියෙක් ශිල්පිනියක් වීමට ඔබත් අදම එක්වන්න. විස්තර හා ව්‍යාපනීච්ච වීමට අමතන්න 0777 6040. ජැට් පින්තාරු අභිමාන දේශීය දෙව් පින්තාරු කරන්නේ උන්නතිය උදෙසා.
රටක් ලෙස අප හමුවේ ඇති සිහින අනාගතයට අප රැගෙන යන බලාපොරොත්තුවයි. සැපවත් නගරවල මෙන්ම දුප්පත් ගම්මානවල පොදු සිහිනය. යහපත් හෙට දවසක්. ඒ සිහිනය ජය ගන්නට එක්ව නැගිටිමු. ගම්මැද්ද රට නගන ජන පෞර.
Welcome back to Primetime News. The Sapparam Festival, a key event in the annual celebration at the historic Nallur Kandaswamy Temple in Jaffna, is being held today. In conjunction with the festival, the Shakti TV zone is also open to the public.
The Sapparam Festival, part of the annual celebration at the historic Nallur Kandaswamy Temple in Jaffna, is being held today. The Sapparam Festival is taking place today, marking the eve of the Ther Festival. Yesterday, a key event of the annual festival of the Nallur Kandaswamy Temple, the Dandayudapani Festival, was celebrated. The Shakti TV zone, which also houses a Newsfirst studio, was launched yesterday in line with the annual festival.
Welcome to MTV News. I'm your host, K. Kapil Dev. வணக்கம். இலக்கம் 3. நீங்கள் இணைந்திருப்பது சக்தி டிவியின் மதிய நேர பிரதான செய்திகளோடு. செய்திகளுடன் நான் குணரத்னம் ஜஸ்மின்.
Various religious and cultural programs are currently underway in the Shakti TV zone. Screen tests are also being conducted at the Newsfirst studio within the Shakti TV zone.
The Arts Foundation of St. Peter's College presented a delightful theatrical experience as they brought the classic farce Caught in the Net to Columbo.
Written by the acclaimed playwright Ray Cooney, Caught in the Net promises audiences 2 hours of side-splitting laughter and comedic chaos. The production is brought to life under the skilled direction of Surendra S. Vijayaratna and produced by Jerome L. De Silva.
What a dance having Colin! Look at this printout. Get a load of this. Both called John.
The 3-day theatrical experience will conclude tomorrow. TV1 and Yes FM are media partners of this event.
Complast and Rob Expo 2024, Transforming Sri Lanka's Future with Sustainable Recycling Solutions, is currently underway in Columbo.
Complast and Rob Expo 2024 focuses on recycling, which aligns closely with the country's long-term goals of circular economies and sustainable development. The event is organized by Smart Expos and Fairs India Private Limited with support from the Industrial Development Board. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, S.C. Veerasekara, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board and many other dignitaries attended this occasion.
Sri Lanka is working for export-oriented manufacturing economy. We need to move forward with new global initiatives, technology and competitive raw material and machinery supplies.
The expo will take place over a 3-day period, attracting a significant gathering of over 300 industry experts and representatives from more than 200 companies in the plastics, rubber and packaging sectors.
A Brazilian Supreme Court justice ordered the immediate suspension of social media platform X in the country after a court-imposed deadline expired for the company to identify a legal representative in Brazil.
X, formerly known as Twitter, has been banned in Brazil after failing to meet a deadline set by a Supreme Court judge to name a new legal representative in the country. The Supreme Court judge ordered the immediate and complete suspension of the social media platform until it complies with all court orders and pays existing fines. The row began in April with the judge ordering the suspension of dozens of X accounts for allegedly spreading disinformation. Reacting to the decision, ex-owner Elon Musk said, quote, "Free speech is the bedrock of democracy and an unelected pseudo-judge in Brazil is destroying it for political purposes," unquote. The social media network is said to be used by at least a tenth of the nation's 200 million population.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.